G. Evans steer you towards some of the most meaningful, life-altering times with our Creator in Conversations.
God says, I want to have a conversation with you. Why? Right now, my thoughts are higher than yours. My ways are a little different than yours.
Man himself is the fruit of a conversation. God talking to Jesus, Jesus talking to the Holy Ghost talking back to God. They're having a conversation concerning you.
But if you start talking to me, you'll get to understand my ways and my thoughts. So God wants this conversation so we can ultimately become all He's created us to be.
I know the thoughts I have concerning you. And I just want to have a conversation with you so you can hear what I'm thinking about you.
Cultivate the most important relationship you'll ever have. Order Conversations today. When you write to us, visit our website or call 1-800-591-8480.
It's now easier than ever to stay connected with David G. Evans and the Bethany Baptist Church family. Follow the ministry and rejoice in all that God is doing by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. On Facebook, you'll be up to date on the latest happenings, and you can watch our Sunday services on Facebook Live at 8 and 11 a.m. Eastern.
Here comes the power. Hallelujah.
Words of wisdom and encouragement can be found on Twitter, and you'll get up to the minute sermon points as they happen in our weekly worship services. Follow us on Instagram and be blessed by the inspirational and special moments that are highlighted each week, and meet the people who are the heart of our ministry. And if it's video you want, subscribe to the Bethany Baptist Church channel on YouTube. See the celebrations, the special events, and the many, many people who are helping to transform lives one at a time. Stay connected with David G. Evans on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and become a member of our broadcast family today.
What if you could make one decision to unleash everything great in your life? Would you do it? Would you say yes? Aren't you tired of your relationships, your health, and so much more suffering because you lack the truth you need to change? The life you desire is within your reach. You can achieve all the success, happiness, and prosperity you deserve by simply learning the secrets that lead to real personal transformation. Change is hard, but not impossible. You just have to make one radical decision to get real. And there's no better authority on the real steps to change than David G. Evans.
Some men trust in chariots. Some men trust in horses. But we will trust in the Lord.
David G. Evans is leading the charge to bring you the power to change your life. He is committed to the mission of helping you transform and become a person of power, and it starts with his all-new system to change your situation. At the centerpiece of this life-altering collection is David Evans' groundbreaking training course. From ridiculous to radical to real, this means war. In this series, you will discover the steps to change. This series includes 2 powerful messages, each on winning the battle in your mind and cultivating a language of faith. That's 4 messages, 4 power-filled hours of material. If you want a better marriage, this series has the answers. If you want to achieve financial independence God's way, the secrets in this series will empower you to make it happen. If you want a life of power, anointing, and influence, this series will show you how to get it, and there's more. You're looking for serious, immediate results. So Bishop Evans will also include one of his best-selling messages called Weapon of Warfare. This classic teaching will build you up to start fighting in the spirit for what you deserve. This powerhouse collection, from ridiculous to radical to real, and Weapon of Warfare, will give you all the biblical strategies you need to change anything in your life. This collection will ship to you immediately with your gift today to David G. Evans Ministries. This ministry is revolutionizing the kingdom by empowering believers. Souls are being saved daily, and we need your help to grow this impact in a real way. Call now and sow your seed of just $35 for your transformation to help people around the world. Your $35 love gift goes straight to the front lines of ministry, providing help to those that need it most. Call now. Make the decision to get the power you need to change your life forever.
Hello? Oh, there we go.
Praise the Lord, everybody. Welcome to On Point, the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America, live every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on any smart device at David G. Evans 1. That's at David G. Evans and the number 1. So glad you could join us today as we have the most intelligent callers in the world as we talk about culture and religion and faith, Jesus Christ, current events, politics, all from a kingdom perspective, all from a biblical perspective. We enjoy talking to you every Saturday morning, and we thank you for your faithfulness to the program as you call from around the country, and sometimes our international callers call in just to give us their comments and their opinions on the variety of subjects that we discuss. Of course, joining me this morning is Reverend Nicholas Smith, our co-host. We're so glad he's with us. Hey, man.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing all right, man. Trying to lot going on in the world.
Yeah.
A lot happening internationally and nationally.
Mm-hmm.
National politics. I don't think I've seen it this.
Crazy.
Yeah, this crazy. And we're almost politically disoriented.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything has been made evident to me is that, some of our politicians really do not care about the welfare of our people.
Yep.
And we are, I continue to be amazed by the dialogue that you get from various people.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I'm sure we'll touch on some of this stuff later. You can give us a call today, 866-743-8267. That's 866-743-8267. That's 866-74-EVANS. Give us a call. We'd love to talk to you this morning as we talk about all those things that impact your life nationally, internationally, the political point of view, cultural point of view, those types of things we want to talk to you about, but always from a kingdom biblical perspective. So I'm having, somebody needs to help me understand some rational motivation for voting against voting rights.
Well, if you want your team to win all the time, you'll make it hard for people to vote.
So you're saying that the Republican Party recognizes their disadvantage as it relates to them not being the majority anymore. And not only have they been gerrymandering districts,
Mm-hmm.
but now they're literally trying to impact the ability to vote
Mm-hmm.
in a normal election. Now, the thing I'm disappointed about, I think that's, for me, that was predictable.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing I'm disappointed about is that there was not a rush for federal legislation
Mm-hmm.
to make sure people's voting rights are intact.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I don't, that part is very disappointing to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And most of the studies they do on voter fraud,
Yeah.
they're coming from mostly Republicans.
Yeah, I know that.
And that's the crazy thing, but they're going to keep trying to make it hard. But this group is motivated, like Stacey Abrams and all those other people,
Yeah.
to motivate people
Yeah, they know how to get folk
that no
out.
matter what happens, if
Yeah.
you got to stay in them lines,
Yeah.
stand in them lines.
Yeah.
And you can make it. It's not like black folk ain't been here before, where it was
Oh,
inconvenient.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know.
And it's really the wrong tactic. I think the Republicans probably would. I think in order for them to expand their tent,
Mm.
a lot of they've gone too far in the policies that they've supported over the last 5 or 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
and to reverse their course at this point would appear very insincere to everybody who's been watching them.
Mm.
So I think they've made a decision to ride or die with this thing.
Yep.
And I have friends that are Republicans, and some of them, I believe, from their comments, are disillusioned.
Mm-hmm.
But also some of them say that the party that they originally aligned themselves with does not exist anymore.
Yep. And that you're seeing more of the what they call classic Republicans.
Yeah.
Feeling that type of way.
Yeah.
Trump hijacked the party, and again, I ask all of them.
Well, how do you hijack it without their permission?
That's the thing. I
Okay.
ask all of them.
He didn't hijack it. They gave it to
I
him.
asked all of them. You saw Trump. You saw the Trump train going.
Yeah.
People were going on it. and y'all rode the wave just to get
Elected.
and some things passed.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is it got out of your control. And my question always to them, is it worth it? Was it worth it? Because their thing is, I'm not voting for Trump now, but was it worth it? Was the outcome?
It couldn't have been worth it.
And we try to tell them, if you want to vote Republican, fine.
Yeah.
But not this one.
Yeah.
Because of what's going to result from it.
Right.
Well, we didn't see this coming. Everybody else saw
How
it
come
coming.
you couldn't see it coming?
Come on. They saw it, they just didn't want to admit
Yeah,
it.
I had a guy tell me last week that he would die for him.
Yeah.
Literally die for him. And he was a believer, and I had to have a spiritual conversation with him. Where's God in that?
Yep.
Well, what I mean is, no, you meant what you said. But where's God in that? Well, you're right. It should be Jesus Christ first. I'm like, you have to make a rational choice.
Yeah. But in a lot of their minds, Trump is God sent to restore Christianity, order, all
But
that stuff to the country.
he's not a representative Christian.
Not
I mean,
at all.
and they know that.
Yeah.
They know that. But they can't say it.
Yeah.
If I hear one more time the mainstream media, but then when I ask them,
No.
well, where are you getting that information?
Mhm.
Like I had to have a conversation with a guy that I've known for about 20 years, and he's the mainstream media guy. He's anti-vaccine.
Mhm.
He's anti-vaccine, but pro-cow medicine.
I know. I
You
know.
know, but then at the same time, I wonder about people who have lost loved ones and are still anti-vaxxers.
Yep. And some of them are.
Well, I know I talked
They
to
are
one this
crazy,
week. I talked
yeah.
to one this week.
Yeah.
And this whole, it appears to me that the people that I know that are really, just I'll die for Trump, they're just repeating things they've been told.
Yeah.
Because when I was, by this one guy I know, when I was told about his relative being in critical condition, the next thing out of his mouth was, the mainstream media is reporting it. I said, what does the mainstream media have to do with your loved one being in intensive care and you're asking for prayer?
Right. Yeah.
Because you don't think she's going to live.
Yeah.
What does the mainstream media have to do with that?
Absolutely nothing. Nothing. I actually had somebody tell me, two people, closest individual, got very sick of COVID.
Okay.
And the person just said, you know what? I know they got sick, but I just got to live my life and do me. And kind of was like, well,
Wow.
no mask on, just.
Well, you know what? The do unto others and the concern for others, and I think that this season we've been in with this COVID backdrop has revealed a loss of Christian love, actual Christian love for one another.
Yep.
I mean, you just can't get around it because there seems to be no concern at all for other people's welfare.
Not at all. Because it's about me, my rights, my freedoms.
Yeah.
And I tell your government freedoms are not backed scripturally.
No.
There's no way you can put it.
No, you can't. They're not.
But when you feel like your freedoms are divine, the conflation of Christianity in America has just been a terrible
The Constitution is not the Bible.
Right. Yeah.
If anything, we should be analyzing the Constitution as it relates to the Word of God.
Yeah.
Not making it a divine document when it's not.
Absolutely.
You know, that thing is like it's a rule, it's a guide.
Yeah.
Which is why as society changes, sometimes it needs to be tweaked.
Yeah. And the one who helped write it said that.
Yes.
That as the country grows, this thing needs to change.
Yeah.
But they're like, no, this is what it says in 87, I think it was written. And just
until it's inconvenient.
Yeah. Right. Then all of a sudden you can it's about interpretation then.
Yeah, it's about the law until the law says I need to see you.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're infringing on my constitutional rights. I should have the right to ignore a subpoena.
Mm-hmm.
I declare, if you or I got subpoenaed and we just said publicly we're not coming.
Mm-hmm. They come to our house.
Man, come on,
You're right.
Come to your house, they grab you at the
right,
Wawa.
Right.
So, I don't know what took the House so long to vote Bannon in contempt. I mean, what the heck? But I saw an attorney general say this morning the immediate response should have been gone to his house and brought him to jail.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would have set the tone for everybody else.
Right. Unless he knows some stuff and they're trying to.
Well, they're trying to. I saw where Trump and those guys threw Pence under the bus today.
Mm-hmm.
Said he was responsible for January 6th.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he's going to maintain his loyalty now.
He's still, I think he's going to try to run in 2024. Pence is. I don't think he's going to get the votes, but.
Oh, man. 57 months. How long is 57 months?
About 4 years and some change.
4 years and some change?
Yeah.
So this Minneapolis police officer gets 4 years and some change for shooting an Australian woman?
Yes. Now, you know the interesting thing? This is the thing that gets me right.
Okay.
About this. He's Somalian.
Okay.
The Australian woman was white.
He gets time?
He got time quick. Blue Lives Matter crowd didn't come out for him.
No?
No, none of that.
That's
none
disappointing.
Of that. None of that.
That's disappointing.
We're all like, well, where y'all at now? With the law and order and, and let's support our police and,
Nothing?
Nothing. The scenario was she was being assaulted.
Okay.
She or somebody called the police. She came running out, I guess, of an alley or something like that towards the police car.
Okay.
It's dark. He couldn't see who was coming towards the car.
Right.
So I don't know why he did this, but he shot her while she was running towards the car. I guess he thought something was about to go down. And that's what happened.
Okay.
But again, the Blue Lives Matter crowd, we support, the blue, no refound for this Somalian.
He might have been watching too much Hulu.
Yeah.
Because there's a scene in Hulu just like that.
Yeah.
And I forget the name of it. Something to do with Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
So he gets time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no protest from the fraternal order or anything.
I ain't seen nothing from them. No outrage. None of that.
They just let him go.
His sentence was longer. Then they cut it down to 57 months. First was like 12 years.
Wow.
Now they're thinking that since they cut his down, are they going to cut Derek Chauvin's down?
Why do they need to cut his down?
Because they cut this guy's down, so it might be.
But this was an accidental shooting? Is this what this was?
Well, they're calling it accidental manslaughter or something like that. But,
Okay.
But they're wondering if.
Derek's was not accidental.
We know.
Okay.
I know. We know.
Okay. Why do we still have a water problem in Michigan?
Another main black area have another water crisis.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't the state, okay, we've got the problem here. There was enough publicity about that. Let's make sure we don't have this problem
That's a
again.
sensible thing to do.
Okay.
But when you don't feel like spending the money and it's a bunch of,
Unbelievable.
lower class people, you don't really.
And what college was this, Pastor Nick?
Which one?
Where the black students were
Oh,
suspended?
that was a school. That was a high school.
It was a high school?
Yeah. It was a high school.
What city was it in?
Let me see. It was in Atlanta area.
Atlanta area?
Georgia, yep.
Okay.
All these southern states, man. Well, not all of them, because there are some northern states that act up, but,
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Florida school says students must stay home for 30 days after each shot.
Yeah, it's a private school that's they're running that stupid theory of you get the vaccine, we don't know how you're going to respond to it, so we want you to stay home until you're okay. So they're saying all the kids wait till the summertime to get vaccinated,
Okay.
because they're in that whole thing that if you get vaccinated, you can bring sickness to the school, and something's wrong with Florida. I mean, those who live in Florida that are cool, no shade, but
They'll talk to us about it today.
yeah.
866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. That's 866-743-8267. Welcome to OnPointe, #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America. So DeSantis is planning a $5,000 bonus for unvaccinated police to relocate to Florida. Mm-hmm. So he's bringing more infection to a state?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's trying to show everybody he's making a stand.
Somebody help me understand this.
Those states want you to get vaccinated. We won't come down here and
I think DC, I think Congress and all needs to pay attention to January 6th and getting these bills passed, and not put what the NFL is doing with Washington on the front burner of anything right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because probably I'm sure whatever his name is, I call him Chucky, but
Goodell.
no, the coach.
Oh, Gruden.
Yeah, he looks like Chucky to me.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm sure Chucky's got a nice going away present.
Yeah, they worked it out, I think this week, like a severance package. They still owed him, I think it was
40 million?
40 million, yeah.
Okay. So he's getting that plus a little bit more?
Might be, yeah. Yeah, he's the scapegoat.
Just go home and be quiet.
Yeah, and just,
And we'll bring you back in about 2 years?
I don't think he's going to be able to come back. Not if things keep going the way it's going in the NFL. He said too much.
You think so?
Yeah, he said too much. I'm not saying he will never get a job somewhere, but I could be wrong, but I would highly doubt the outrage would be too heavy if they got to weigh the pros. Is Gruden worth the outrage?
Depends on what state he's in.
But I mean, again, I'm talking about the NFL at large.
Okay.
So the NFL fan base at large.
So you're saying he couldn't end up in college?
Oh, he probably ended up in college, yeah. College probably, yeah, because if you go to southern states,
Okay.
yeah, he can go there.
Okay.
But the NFL reserves their biggest thing for their owners, of course,
Absolutely.
because they're trying to do the whole let's not talk about the Washington owner. Let's just leave it be. They said he had his consequences.
And he's not in the game anymore.
I think he's out. He was away from the team for like 4 months. But it's one of those just stay away until this goes away, and then come back.
That NFL Owners Association must be a very powerful organization.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they do control quite a bit of money.
Yeah. Roger Goodell.
And they influence media, too.
Oh, yeah. Roger Goodell made $128 million in the past 2 years.
As the commissioner?
As the commissioner. And remember, he works for the owners. So his job is to protect them.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Y'all can say whatever the heck y'all want to say about me.
Yeah.
I would not care. He takes all the he takes the blame for them.
Does he?
But if you pay me $128 million,
that's his job.
$60-something million.
That's part of his job.
Part of my job.
Part of his job.
You can say whatever you want to say.
They do something crazy, he has to try to put the best face on it.
There you go. You pay me $68 million a year, I wouldn't care what y'all say. I'm trying to tell you something.
I'm trying to tell you.
Shoot.
So, the political game. Tell me what your perspective biblically is on what's going on politically right now.
Well, how can I say this? I think that it's actually the same thing. Power,
right?
Money,
right?
Influence,
right?
Dominates everything,
right?
We're continuing to see that those same principles, biblical times, all the way up until now, and how they dominate the sinful nature of greed in us, power, control, all those things.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy though? I won't say crazy. God revealed his greatest glory on the cross.
Absolutely.
Which was a great act of humility and submission. And the way God chose to reveal all of his goodness was through an act of submission.
Right.
We think his glory is revealed just an act of power.
No.
But that act of humility is an act of power. It is an act of authority. It's an act of glory. It's an act of all that. And I think we American Christians got this thing of conquer, dominion, which is all biblical stuff. But I think we take it the wrong way.
Because he
used to oppress people.
He does say, and I'm paraphrasing, you don't actually think I can't call 10,000 angels right now. I'm not in this position because I have no options. I could call angelic help, and they would be here instantaneously.
And all y'all be dead.
So this is not a sign of weakness. This is humility. And I also, just to add to what you're saying, the vanity described in Ecclesiastes is put there not just for us to stay away from it, but also to talk about how the things that are included in the vanity of Ecclesiastes impact the world, how it impacts our lives every day. And they're real things that he says all of these are vanity, and that gives me the sense of eternally incomplete. But right now, we got to deal with some vanity, and we're seeing the impact of what is described in the Bible as vanity on everyday lives.
Yeah. using scripture to justify what we want.
Absolutely.
So we want to conquer something. We take a scripture about Israel going into a land to conquer something and thinking that's us. That's not us. It's not us. I mean, I'd rather be honest. Just be honest and say, look,
Yeah.
you know, we want to go take over this.
They can't do that.
Don't throw God into it.
Well, but it's leaked down into religion as a whole.
Yeah.
You know, where people are, you know, justifying. What I don't like is when people don't want to act. They now use Jesus as a scapegoat.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The Lord's going to have to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Rather than our part.
The whole earth is given to man.
Absolutely. But to me, it's escape. It's on the lines of thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
no responsibility from us.
No.
Let's just, you know, put it all on God and the Spirit to fix stuff.
866-743-8267, 866-743-8267, 866-74-EVANS. Give us a call. Lines are starting to light up. We'll know who it is in just a second.
Comment just saying Bishop done turned into Barry White all of a sudden. My internet must have gotten slow.
No,
You pacing yourself.
No, I'm just pacing myself. I have a very wide vocal range, and I happen to be using the low one today.
Stay in the low register.
I'm staying in the low register today.
So
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
This topic's been coming up about how Democrats aren't fighting enough for the people that vote for them.
Right.
So we do all this stuff to get them in office.
Yep.
They get in office.
Yep.
They kind of, I don't know if it's a bad phrase, but pussyfoot around
Yeah.
with the Republicans, like with voting rights and all this stuff. And there are some people who are Democrats that are feeling some type of way
Sure.
that are like, why am I voting for y'all?
I'm
every
very
year?
disappointed in their lack of aggressiveness.
Yeah.
And here's what I think happens. The Republicans have emerged as street fighters.
Yeah.
And the Democrats insist on using marquee, the Queensberry rules. Like there's rules for this fight.
Yeah.
So you got a street fighter in with a fighter that's trying to follow the rules.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so they getting hooked upside the head, getting punched in the kidneys,
Yeah.
the whole 9 yards, and all they're saying is calling the ref and saying, "Don't you see what he's doing to me?"
Yeah.
You know, when the fact of the matter is, I think while they're in office, they have to go for what they know
Yeah.
and deal with it later. Get the stuff in place while you have the majority. Don't wait till you lose it,
Yeah.
then you know,
Yeah.
act stupid. Let's go to Tom. Hey, Tom, how you doing?
Good morning, Bishop, Pastor Nick.
Barry White.
Tom, what's up?
What's up, man?
Hey, before I talk about this crazy microcosm I live in called Florida,
Okay.
real quick, you were talking about our Constitution and why people say it's got to be a certain way. I say it got 27 amendments, so there is room to change what people think.
Yep.
The other thing was, poll. You know, back in the old days, when they didn't want you to vote, they just put a poll tax in or give you a test. So this isn't anything new. This voting rights.
Oh no. It's been a struggle for a long time. It was, you know, they put these names to try to raise the legitimacy. Gerrymandering. Most people don't even know what that means.
Yep.
But they hear it, and so they ignore it because they can't define it. But they've been gerrymandering for a while, you know, and people, and they do it so subtly people don't notice. And they do it to, I think, impact local elections and get the changes in place. And then when it comes to a national election or a state election, the people don't realize until that time they're at a disadvantage. Polling places are being minimized. You know, you know, all types of. They're even slowing down the mail.
Yep.
First class is now supposed to take 5 days.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Money.
5 days for a first class piece of mail, which means your ballots are going to be late getting where they're supposed to get.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of what, we vote Tuesday.
Okay.
Local elections are Tuesday.
Okay.
So y'all need to get out there and
Yeah,
vote.
you better get out there and vote because they're trying to be sneaky.
Yep.
And I wouldn't be worried about the inconvenience.
Yeah.
You know, because the I don't think that the president is moving aggressively enough on voting rights,
Yeah,
which in the long run will benefit everyone.
absolutely. Absolutely.
But one of the parties is so worried about the size and the shrinkage and I don't know.
Yep. Yeah. I still think it should be a holiday.
Well, it would make sense because, getting in and some people after work and that type of thing, some people don't have flexible schedules are at a disadvantage when they're trying to vote.
Yep.
What were you going to say, Tom?
Absolutely. Well, you down here in Florida, this crazy place, not just the $5,000 bonus to New York, Minneapolis, Chicago, and Seattle police. You have legislation that just put in to undermine workers being vaccinated. Our governors also fined some of the southern counties $3.57 million in fines for not.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah.
Because the schools, the schools are saying you got to wear a mask. He's saying, oh no, so he's taking money out of their pocket, and he's just doing some crazy stuff. One other thing I got to say about this guy, this monoclonal antibody treatment.
Yeah.
The CEO, Ken Griffin, is donated, and they know this for a fact, donated to not directly to DeSantis, but to a political committee that supports DeSantis, $10.75 million.
Wow.
And he is on this monoclonal vaccine,
Well, I understand he owns stock in the company too, isn't he? He owns stock in that company.
Trump does too.
Trump does too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this guy, the CEO, is pouring crazy money into his campaign.
Well, Tom, let me get your national political opinion. Why do you think that they've decided to sacrifice Pence?
Wow, I can't figure that out because Pence was the guy that.
Man, he looked at him like he was Jesus, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was the only guy in that whole realm. I don't understand Pence. I don't understand why Pence isn't coming out fighting.
I don't understand why he insists on appearing to be loyal. I mean, they're trying to blame him for the the riot on January 6th, and that's just I'm not a Pence fan, but he's not responsible for that.
Yeah, I don't get the whole thing. You were talking about old Republicans compared to new Republicans.
Yeah.
You don't have to like Bush or be crazy about the Bush era.
You're right.
But if you look at his cabinet, Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State twice was an African American.
Sure
and
was.
What I mean by saying those things is that I may not agree with his politics, but I think his head was in the right place when it came to racial things and and right and wrong. Like I said, I don't agree with everything he did, but I think there was a point there where right and wrong was there. People like him, McCain, the old guard, compared to where I don't know where they got this Trump from.
I think their upbringing was different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally.
I think Trump raised himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Pastor Nick said something. I told you so. The night that he won, I remember waking up and seeing him, thinking, oh my God. But I had the best wish intentions. I said, I hope he doesn't show up as the guy we see on The Apprentice.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
No, he was who he is. He's no different then. He's no different now. I don't like our national consciousness and the lack of respect for one another, the lack of ability to have differing opinions and not be hostile. I mean, it's just some people are being embraced by this whole, everybody's against them conspiracy thing. They're really warmed by the thought that they think people are thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
And that they're part of, this flow that he established that I think is just counterproductive to unity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is his supporters think he's a uniter.
He's not.
And they say that fools. It's like,
Yeah, I know. I just heard it the other day.
yeah, they're dividing us, but Trump is bringing us together. Like when? Where?
No,
How?
The us is not the nation. The
Yeah.
us is his constituency.
Because in their mind, black and white is all the same. I'm like, come on.
The us is their constituency. It's not the us that's United States.
Yeah.
It's just like when I hear politicians saying the how do they use
The
that
American
phrase?
people.
The American people.
Yeah.
And I often wonder, well, I don't agree with that, so you're not including me in that phrase. You know, the American people. Well, I'm a part of that group.
Yeah. They don't.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Tom, good to hear from you, man.
Hey, likewise, and you guys have a great day.
You too. Stay
Good,
strong
Tom.
now.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. Give us a call. This is On Point, the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America, live every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on any smart device at David G. Evans 1, at David G. Evans, the #1. Give us a call. We love talking to you this morning. Of course, you've been watching football. And, of course, you've been enjoying it. Are you liking the pro game more than the college game this year?
I always like the college game. More.
College game
I
is just wonderful, isn't
always
it?
do.
Yeah,
The
man.
fight is different.
Yeah, man. They try.
Yeah, it's Saturdays are my days,
I know.
from noon till
I know.
whatever goes off.
I know.
Just, it's good seeing the new guys come up. The only thing I don't like as much is how much the game is changing.
College game?
Yeah, because it's more, the college game changed, then it changed the pro game.
Okay.
So before, you would have a balance, you run the ball, pass.
Right,
Now
right.
it's spread, pass.
Yeah.
Defense is not that much important. Points.
They're getting them ready to play pro ball.
Yeah, it's just, and now the NFL's turning into that. It was just pass, high scoring, defense, whatever. But again, it's all money. They're trying to appeal to the casual fan
Yeah.
who doesn't want a slobber fest of a 17-10 game where they're duking it out. They want high points.
Which is what I enjoy.
Me too. I want them fighting
Yeah,
hard.
yeah.
Like basketball.
Yeah.
Now everybody's trying to do the three. Before you drive
And
the basket.
I love watching the three, but take it into the lane.
Yeah, man, that's some aggression. Has some. As much as I wasn't a big Kobe fan,
Yeah.
I appreciated him because he
Okay.
was old school.
Okay.
He was
Yeah, he was.
on the court. I don't like you. Off court, yes.
Let's play ball.
But I'm here to win and for you to lose.
I see why the generation that came up with Jordan likes Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
I see the generation that like Kobe. Of course, I understand the generation of Dr. J.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Yeah.
But the only person that has transcended all of those is Kareem.
Yeah. I still think Kareem is up there. He could be possibly considered the best.
Well, most of the pros think he is.
Yeah, Kareem is
Yes.
legit.
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah.
He's you just can't get around it.
No. I mean, that's why people say, well, you can't count a big man as the best ever. Why not?
Why not?
It's not his fault he's tall, but there are other tall people in the league that haven't dominated as much as he had.
Sure.
So, I mean,
I just think that they changed the game because of him.
yeah.
Now, I know everybody talks about all the other guys. And most guys that talk about sports talk about championships.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to talk about championships, you can't leave Russell out of the conversation.
You can't.
11 out of 13
Yeah.
seasons?
And this is the thing I hate. I hate when they say this. Well, back in the day, wasn't that many teams, and da-da-da. He can't pick the era that he.
No, you can't.
The player. Are they the best of their generation?
But he arguably played against some of the best that there were.
At the time, yeah.
Oscar Robertson, McAdoo, Chamberlain,
Yeah.
Greer, you name it. He played against some real tough guys.
And he coached and played.
Yes, sir.
I'm like, I still remember he walked up the stage and he looked at Shaq, Kareem, and all them. I could beat you.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. He's like, all y'all could beat y'all. he was joking, but it was older,
Yeah.
But people don't give him his respect like they.
I loved him.
Like they
Only
should.
guy I ever saw that blocked Wilt trying to dunk.
Mhm.
Literally put his hand on the top and
Yeah.
stopped him.
Mhm.
I said, this guy must be strong.
Yeah.
Because Wilt was strong.
Yeah. Yeah, they had that country strength.
Yeah, man.
But one of my guys is Kareem. I like Kareem and Larry Bird.
Yep.
Magic and Larry Bird.
Ma-
Magic center, point guard. He
Magic,
could play
Magic, amazing, man.
any role.
He was amazing.
But Larry Bird is one of my guys.
He's got to be.
Yeah.
I mean, what did he score? 40 points with a left hand?
Yeah, he said it on purpose. I'm
Yeah.
gonna play with my left hand this whole game. Hurt his back, was still doing
In the
good.
pros.
In the pros.
Unbelievable stuff.
You know, in the barbershop when they talk about Larry Bird, that's when he knew he was.
Oh, yeah.
Because in the barbershop, the black folk was like, Larry, you got to give it to him.
Oh, yeah. They say he was a destroyer. And he was talking trash the whole time he was playing.
And that's why people say, who would I take, LeBron over Larry Bird? I'd probably take Larry Bird just from the grit. LeBron's a greater athlete.
Okay.
He size-wise.
Yeah, all that.
I mean, all that. You cannot deny.
But effectiveness, I don't know if you can get past Bird.
I mean, that grit.
Yeah,
and
Bird was tough, man.
Scoring and just.
Bird was tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bird was tough.
So, I mean.
Can't take it away from him.
Nah.
He wasn't pretty with it.
Mm-hmm.
But man, was he effective.
That's the thing. And people forget he played. They were beating the Showtime Lakers.
Yes, sir.
They were, when the
Yes,
Pistons
sir.
came on, they were doing,
Yes, sir.
they were literally.
Duking it out, man.
Thank you. The 80s are known by the Lakers, the Celtics, and at the end, the Pistons.
Well, they played in the era that you needed Ben Gay after you finished playing the game. You needed some therapy, man.
Yeah.
But now, man, you can't even. Guys drive down the lane, you got to get out of the way.
Yeah, and just
all
the fake flops and just.
Shaq said, he came in the lane. I had to touch him up.
Yeah.
Had to touch him up.
Yep.
I was like, wow, these guys would go crazy now.
I know.
So I'm amazed we're having service today, only because it seems so unlikable based on the weather and all the reports. But then I think the clouds exhausted themselves yesterday and last night.
Mm-hmm.
And this morning early, I'm like, okay.
Sun's out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to have a great time today. And that's going to be at 11:30. You want to join us here on the campus in Lindenwold, New Jersey. We'll have our outdoor encounter, which has been going extraordinarily well. And then tomorrow you can join us at 8 a.m., 9:45, 11, and 6 with our 10 Times Better Women series, which is going really well. We always want to encourage you to send us your prayer requests. And you can do that. Send it to social@gotobethany.com. And you want to subscribe to our podcast platforms, DGEMS, DGEMS, and OnPointe. But also, join us on YouTube, David G. Evans 1 and BBC of NJ. Look forward to you joining us on each of those platforms. Now, what do you think is the legacy going to be of a party that is obviously, aggressively, and publicly trying to block voting rights?
The same one. To me, they're getting the same reputation as the old school Democrats.
Okay. Back in the day.
Before
Strom Thurmond and all those guys.
Yeah, all them.
Okay.
Yeah. They're going to be known as that group.
What bothers me, though, is that they will refer to the Democrats' history like it's not the same as what they're doing right now. That we're perpetrating something different than the Stroms and the George Wallaces.
Yeah, no. And I tell people, they bring that mess up. The Republicans are the ones that freed the slaves. Martin Luther King was a Republican. I'm like, this was a different Republican group. It is not the same. The party switched in how they did things. This is not the same at all.
But I was talking to a guy last week, and I had a brief conversation with him again this week. It appears to me that some of the people that are supporting the Trump piece don't have their own minds. They're just repeating what has been said. Mainstream media, they're not telling us everything, and you can correct me on this. I need to be corrected. What it feels like when I'm talking to these type of supporters is that somebody finally heard me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And because of that, I just have to keep this position strong because somebody finally heard me.
Yeah. Well, that's their appeal. He confirms what they've been feeling.
Okay.
And that's why they like him so much, because they want to be able to yell, shout, say what they want to say.
But they don't see his insincerity?
No.
And his lifestyle is so different from theirs that he doesn't care about what they care about?
They think he's the everyday American.
He's not.
Built himself up. Your dad gives you millions of dollars.
My dad gave me $400 million. You better believe
Right.
I'd have some money.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they don't think that far. But I think because he confirms their bias
And their
their
fears.
feelings, their fears. We're no longer be the majority. These immigrants coming here doing stuff, and these minorities getting all these benefits, and we get nothing. And
I asked a guy I know the other day, I said, so tell me, the only statistics that are legitimate are ones that favor you? Well, that's not what I'm saying. Well, yeah, that's what you're saying. If the last election was won by the Republican Party, would it have been legitimate? Well, yeah. So the only way it's illegitimate is if you lose.
Yep. It's like a child. Yeah. You didn't win fair and square. You cheated.
Wow.
Yeah, because there's no way you could beat me. It's very childlike. I said he was a child in chief, and
It's sad.
and now I get it. Middle America has been screwed over for the past couple of years.
Absolutely.
Literally have been. When they start shipping everything overseas,
Yep.
and all the factories and stuff went
Yep.
down. The problem is they're blaming the wrong people. This all happened under Democratic and Republican leadership.
Both.
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 And then Trump comes in and lies and says we're going to restore these factories.
He never did.
Never did. But it's not about that. But I'm telling you, I say it over and over again on the show. I still remember that guy from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
He was losing his house.
Right.
He was a steel worker, going out of business.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
He said, "I will vote for Trump as long as he makes those NFL players stop kneeling for the national anthem." And the person was like, "But you're losing your house. This is going down." He said, "As long as he gets them to respect our flag, he has my vote. Never mind, my life is going in the crapper." He literally said this.
Wow.
It explained so much of delusion
Yeah.
and how they view America. I'll go down as long as these minorities over here, respect the flag and get in line, put it that way.
That is a statement that would be somewhat publicly acceptable, but that will reveal a heart full of frustration and disappointment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
Well, let's take a look at something.
All right.
So in Louisiana, they have fathers patrolling the schools to help curb the violence.
Yeah. They call it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. What's it called? Dad's something. So there's a school. They had like 23 fights within the school year started.
Yeah.
This is October, and literally like they were fighting like every day. Some
Yeah.
kids were getting arrested. So. The police couldn't fix it.
Okay.
So the fathers in the community came in and start going to school every day, just to kind of walk around, talk
Sure.
to the kids,
Makes
do
sense.
stuff like that.
Makes sense.
And they said since they came in there,
Well, I guess it did stop.
everything, and they're just trying to show, and they're trying to start chapters in different places of the country, trying to show that
It makes sense.
police presence, dad's on patrol. Police presence isn't always the best thing,
Okay.
because the community fathers know these kids.
Mm-hmm. And the kids know them.
The kids know them, and they respect them. And I thought it was a cool idea. They got a lot of national recognition, and
That's pretty cool involvement.
yeah. And I think we need more people like that to step in.
Because in reality, I think coming out to the PTA meetings are essential.
Yep.
But I don't think it impacts in this kind of direct way the day-to-day activity in the school.
Yep.
You come to a PTA meeting once every, 3-4 months?
Yeah. If that. Yeah.
And then, the teacher's having a conversation, you have a conversation with the teacher, and then that does not really impact behaviors during the day.
Yep.
So I think presence means a lot.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. So I'm watching the news occasionally, and I'm seeing that they're convicting a lot of people that participated in January 6th, but not enough. The sentences are just.
Bishop.
Some people had stormed that Capitol, they'd be dead.
Absolutely.
Some of these folk are getting 60 days in jail.
Mm-hmm. or parole.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, they didn't participate in. Some of them were saying, well, they didn't participate in all the smearing on the walls and stealing stuff.
Yeah.
They just entered the building. You entered a government building and get 60 days in jail or probation
Not
and
supposed
fines.
to. It's supposed to be heavier than that.
If you or I broke into Walmart or Rite Aid,
You're looking at 3 years.
I'm like, what are y'all doing? Why are y'all letting this stuff go? The lady that stole Nancy Pelosi's laptop
Yeah.
and tried to sell it to Russia,
What did she get?
I don't think she's been locked up yet. Or she's just in the holding, but you're going to a congressperson's office, theft, stole their laptop, espionage, trying to sell the laptop.
She's supposed to be going to jail for life.
I just don't. And the people, they're allowing them to travel, to go on vacation.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
I'm like, y'all keep saying this. The justice system isn't.
It's imbalanced.
It is.
Yeah, it's imbalanced.
It's imbalanced.
Yeah. I think that what's more egregious to me are some of the politicians who said it looked like a normal tour to me.
Yeah.
And I ask myself the same question each time I hear one of those statements. Do they not care how foolish they make themselves look by saying things like that? If you watch any tape at all, that was not a tour.
Yeah. I know.
So they're not tearing off doors and breaking windows and putting excrement on the wall doing a regular tour.
Yeah. That's because they're probably involved in it. That's why.
No, I know they were.
Yeah. Yeah. But they
this committee needs to stop pussyfooting around and get to it.
Get to it and do what they got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if that was the Black Lives Matter movement.
Oh man.
Oh, they would have killed all.
But here's the thing. There's no way to avoid a political overtone.
Yeah.
It is.
Yep.
It happened to the government, so it's going to be political. You happen to be in office, you must take action and make people be accountable for this thing.
Absolutely.
And that's all the way up to the president.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. In the Dylan, what's his name? Not Dylan.
Oh, not him.
What's the boy that shot the two people in
In Atlanta?
No, he crossed state lines, the teenager. What's the boy's name?
Dylan. Riff, Huff.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So the judge
Yeah.
said that the people he murdered,
Yeah.
the lawyers are no longer allowed to label them as victims.
What are you going to call them?
Looters, almost like protesters. He said, don't call them victims. Now, he killed two people. Don't call them victims. Call them looters, call them protesters. They're trying to frame that.
So what was he?
That's the thing. They're managing this outcome.
What do you call him?
I've heard people say he was defending himself. He was trying to protect,
So he was right for being down there with a rifle.
Cross state lines with a rifle.
He was right.
He was right.
Okay.
I'm like, you can't tell me this justice system. Kyle Rittenhouse, thank you. They say call them, don't call them victims, call them rioters, call them arsonists.
So why can't we call the January 6 people rioters?
That's the thing. Looters,
Mob, looters. They stole stuff. Thieves.
Because there are people in the justice system, and this is what gets on my nerves about some of this. If some folk would have just, I know you didn't like Hillary Clinton, but if y'all would have voted for her, we wouldn't have been in some.
We wouldn't have had this nonsense.
Because now Trump has the Republicans put all these judges in office during this time frame. They saw the bigger picture.
I think Mrs. Clinton would have been a better president.
I
than
think
Trump.
so too.
Yeah, all day long.
But I'm like, y'all didn't like her, so now we got this. Like, come on, y'all.
They didn't like her because as a female, she was not allowed to take certain positions, think certain ways, react certain ways. I don't know what they wanted from her. She's been in politics for however many years. She's not going to react like some girl that just went on spring break. I mean, she's not going to be walking around, like skyscrapers and everything. I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, we don't trust her. She lies. All politicians lie. All of them. Hello? All of them.
But here's it. They trusted the same president who said he did all kinds of stuff to few people.
Right.
And that makes no sense to me. But willing to justify any behavior just to say they support it.
Yep. Yeah. And then the non-voters who just stayed home, just...
When a couple people told me, I just didn't vote. So what do you think about that now?
If your behind would have voted, we could have been... I mean, even the lady who helped run the pandemic stuff, she admitted, which we all knew, had Trump and the people done what they were supposed to do in the beginning.
Absolutely.
She said over 100,000 lives would have been saved earlier on with COVID. But I believe if Hillary Clinton was in office, not saying the pandemic wouldn't have come, but we'd have at least had somebody manage it better.
Well, we wouldn't have had an entire agency dedicated to infectious disease thrown out merely because the previous president put it in place. We wouldn't have had that. So we would have had the communication and probably the reaction we should have had. Not this thing's not going to touch us. It's not going to. Kids won't catch it. I mean, all this nonsense. That people actually believed. Oh, Lord.
And all these lives later.
Yeah.
You know, it's politicizing the virus was absolutely demonic.
I think so.
It was absolutely demonic.
I agree with you.
Totally demonic.
We're coming up on 4 minutes. We want to remind you we have our drive-in encounter today at 11:30. Please come down to the campus in Lindenwold, New Jersey, 1115 Gibbsboro Road in Lindenwold, New Jersey. If you are over in Philadelphia, we're about 30 minutes from Ben Franklin or Walt Whitman Bridges. If you're in Atlantic City, we are probably about 40 minutes from you. If you're in Trenton, we're in 40 minutes away, 35 minutes away. Willingboro, 25 minutes away. We're closer than you think. So you can just come on down, join us for our 11:30 encounter outdoors. Comfort of your car, great sound, great worship. You'll have a wonderful time. And a great word, of course. Tomorrow, 8 a.m., 9:45 is our Engage Live. 11 a.m. is our second encounter of the day. 6 p.m. is our 6 Times Better Women encounter at 6 o'clock. 5:30 we have our discussion. 6 is our teaching. And then 6:35 or so, we have another post-conversation that's always lively, always great. If you have any prayer requests at all, send it to social@gotobethany.com. That's social@gotobethany.com. And subscribe to David G. Evans 1 and BBC of NJ. That's David G. Evans 1 and BBC of NJ on YouTube. But also subscribe to our DGEMS, that's DGEMS, and OnPointe podcast platforms. Great discussions. You'll enjoy all of it. Do we have time to talk to Keisha? We got about 3 minutes.
About 2 minutes now.
2 minutes now. So Keisha, we're going to need you to call us back next week. I don't want to cut you off. So I hope you're doing well. I hope things are going well up in Elizabeth, New Jersey. But call us next week right away at 9 o'clock, okay? I think that we're going to have to get a political guest on here that we can trust their opinion.
Sure.
Because I'm not 100% sure at any time in my life of the purity of the news that we're getting. You have to listen so critically when you're listening to it. You have to ask questions. When you're reading something, you have to ask questions. What's behind the statements? But I think we need somebody that we can reasonably trust to talk to us about what's going on in Washington right now. Yeah. And why something on the surface that seems so beneficial to the nation, all ethnicities, all political affiliates, and over a 10-year period, and you have people voting against it. Yeah. And to me, it's something that would benefit us long term and take us out of this. We need to 30-year dialogue we've been having. Because it's been 30 years, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. And bridges are deteriorating, the railroads are becoming inefficient. I mean, just over and over again. You know, what is it that the politicians seem to be missing? And are they really concerned with improving the nation?
I don't think they're concerned about people.
Well, yes, we agree on that.
Lining their pockets, taking care of those who put them in office.
Yeah.
That's all they care about.
It says we're out of time.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us on OnPointe today. For Reverend Nicholas Smith, I'm Bishop David G. Evans. So glad you could join us. All our listeners and our Facebook participants. Oh, what do you think about Meta? We got to talk about that. Rebranding. That's what you do. Jump ship when the going gets tough, I guess.
Yeah.
Join us next week on Point, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Remember, faith acts like a thing is so, even when it's not so, that it might be so. See you at 11:30 here on the campus for our outdoor encounter.